This is The Process Shot. I'm Michael. I'm stuck in a haunted movie theater, and I've seen The Cars That Ate Paris, a black comedy from 1974 directed by Peter Weir. It's about a young drifter named Arthur who ends up stuck in a rural Australian town called Paris after his brother is killed when their car veers off road. Initially apprehensive about staying, he soon finds that he can't leave. Initially because of a fear of driving, but also because of the locals finding ways to keep him around. Soon enough, he learns that the town is hiding a terrible secret. At night, the people orchestrate car accidents to salvage the wrecks, pawn the victims' belongings, and offer the survivors to the local doctor for his lobotomy experiments. Despite the rather grim story, the movie does offer more levity than shock. It's certainly not a comedy, but nor is it outright horrific in nature. The overall film is a bit deadpan in presentation, and certainly may not even click right with people who prefer more overtness. At the very least, it seems that the movie is more in line with acting as a homage to B-movies of the 50s and 60s. From the film's title, to the notion of townspeople hiding secrets, to the mysterious out-of-town stranger, and even the young versus old dynamic which permeates the film's setting throughout its running time. In particular, that's an interesting plot point where Arthur ends up at a crossroads, with his own youth putting him in league with the more rebellious and wanton teens of Paris, while the elders of the town hope to bring him to their side of the generation gap. It's not something that's developed upon in a more complete sense, but it does present a final bit of satire when the titular cars begin their attack during a town party celebrating its pioneers. The technical aspects of The Cars That Ate Paris are also a bit more deadpan in their presentation, whether for comedic effect or otherwise. An opening montage is the most active the film tends to get, though mostly because it is in itself a spoof on commercials, it seems. Otherwise, the film tends more towards being flat, enjoying the countryside and landscapes, but otherwise keeping shots more practical than expressive. Audio is a bit more dynamic, using louder noises for jump scares, but also to highlight the more general horrors that the town gets into at night. Color is also pretty neutral and focused on natural tones, though the cars of the town's youth are pretty colorfully painted, again tying into the themes of a generation gap. In other movies, a deadpan nature might be considered a negative, but here it actually seems to work out well for the story by presenting it in a stark and rather visceral manner, especially where car crashes are concerned. In short, the film is essentially a contemporary version of a 50s B-movie which never existed, taking a concept and reshaping it in a way which would give it greater depth than before. But, again, there was no original, so I'm pretty much talking out of my butt here. The Cars That Ate Paris. Peter Weir, 1974. 3.5 stars. I'd recommend seeing it when you can. That's it from me here. If you like this review, leave me a like. If you want to leave a comment, go ahead on. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews coming your way. Also, if you thought this was going to take place in France, you aren't alone. I mean, how many other Parises are there? I know there's one in Texas.